Understanding relations, functions, domain, and range. Term 1, week 3. So we are now in the session 2, tables, mapping, diagrams, and vertical line test. So there are 5 representation of a relation. It can be a table, it can be a mapping diagram, ordered pairs, graph, and equation. So before we do that, let's have a quick drill. So I want you to study the mapping diagram below. These are the inputs 1, 2, 3, 4, outputs 2, 4, 6, 8. Let us answer this question. Is this a function? Why or why not? How do you know what is the domain and what is the range? Take time to write down your answer in your notebook, and later on we're going to check that. So I want you to remember to determine if a relation is a function, you have to check the inputs or the x, and each input must have exactly one output. Understood? But by the way, 1 and 2 is a function. Why? Because they only have one exactly a one outputs. So two different inputs, but they have one output. That is considered as a function as well. So this is an example or the expected answers from this particular question. In the question number 1, yes, it is a function. Each input has exactly one output. That's the explanation. Domain are 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how we write the domain with curly braces with equal sign or word the domain. Range is 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, separated by comma. Okay, so let's have a worked examples. In this case, I'm gonna think aloud, and I'm going to read this and repeat after me. I'm going to check this table of values. So this is the table of values. My first step is always to look at the X column or the inputs. These are the X column. Are there any repeated X values with different Y values? Let us pause and scan. I see X equals 2 appears twice, Y equals 4, and Y equals 7. So 2 appears twice with two different outputs or Y. That means one input gives two outputs. This is not a function. I circle the repeated X value to mark my evidence. So what you're going to do when you see that, you can encircle it to mark your evidence. Again, this is not a function. So let's have a table. Clearly a function. This is an example of function. Why? Because there is no repeated x values, right? Next, this is not a function because the 2 keeps repeating. Okay, it appears twice. Now, after the table, let's move on to the mapping diagram. What does it take to be a function? So if the domain or inputs, so we have this one, okay? This is a function, though the 3 and 4 have their one output, that is considered as function as well, okay? Because each input has exactly one arrow to one output. Now, this is new for you, the vertical line test. There is a graph here, a circle 1. So vertical is a straight line, okay? So what you're going to do or what we are going to do is we will draw an imaginary line else anywhere. So we can draw here, you can draw there. So if there is a chance that the line um, cross the point more than once, then we consider it as not a function because the line crosses twice. Okay, so there is a 2 point of intersection here. On the other hand, meron tayong parabola. So this is another type of graph na naka-open upwards. So when we draw a vertical line or when we test that using the vertical line test, as you can see, how many points ang intersection natin? Only one, always one. If that is the case, okay, the vertical line crosses once. That is a function. That is how we consider it as function using the graph. We use the vertical line test. So again, a vertical line always checks whether a single input produces more than one output. If yes, it crosses the graph more than once, so it is not a function. If no, it crosses at most once, so it is a function. Pag nag-cross ang dalawa, not function yon. Pag nag-isa lang, that is a function. Now, we move on to the equation. So we have y equals 2x plus 1. For every x, there is exactly one y. So in this case, we have x equals negative 2. What we are going to do is to plug in the negative 2 here in the x. So 2 times negative 2, that is going to be negative 4 plus 1. So we have negative 3. Go ahead and try to check whether that is correct. So let's try another one. Negative 1. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 plus 1. That is going to be negative 1. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 1, 1. 1 times 2, that is 2 plus 1, 3. 2 times 2, 4 plus 1, 5. Okay? So, naintindihan nyo na kung paano naman mag-work yan sa equation. So, that is a function because dito, wala naman siyang naulit. Right? So, reminder, a function means every input has exactly one output, never two. Kulit, no? So, now, in our activity, we have later on a gallery walk in our classroom. So, I will show you how it works. You have to work in three or groups of three, visit each station for 90 seconds, record your answers on a gallery walk recording sheet, rotate the next station when the time is up. So this is the station 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bibigay si teacher sa inyo ng mga papel dyan na ito po yung mga ipapakita niya sa inyo. What we're going to do is si pair 1, ang gagawin po niya, she is, yung student 1, he is or she is an analyst. So applies niya the function criterion. Check mo yung inputs, look for any x values with two different y outputs. Okay? So recorder naman, yung student number 2, susulatin niya yung verdict and evidence on the recording sheets. Dapat may papel si recorder. And si student 3, challenger, ask question that push reasoning. Are you sure? What if ganito? What if ganyan? Okay? So, what to record at the station? Kailangan nyo lang ma-record yung kung yan ba ay function or not, kung yung mga domain, pakilista rin yung range, at ano-ano yung mga evidence nyo using the vertical line test to justify your answer. Okay, pwede kang mag-drawing ng graph using those coordinate points. Or kung may graph na, you can use that evidence. No? So, now, we're gonna move on to closing ceremony of this topic. So, exit ticket. So, the exit ticket is related to our previous activity. Okay? So, may question ako sa inyo. The vertical line test works because, ayan. So, that's it. The teacher will collect later on your activity. Kapag kasi teacher nakita niya, you can explain why the VLT works or vertical line test works. Got it? Partial naman kapag I understand some parts but need more practice or not yet, I need more support to understand. And that would be all for our session today. So this is our session number 2 and we will move on to the next session in the next video.